my name is Emily, and we're going to be reading Tori Comes Out of Her Shell, and that's Tori, a lovely little turtle. Let's get into it. It was a fall season of change. The sound of chirping crickets turned to the sharpening of pencils. It was time for a change for the turtle family too. They had grown out of their log home in Woodland Pond, so they moved to Mulberry Meadow. Their new log home had plenty of room for Papa, Mama, Thomas, Ted, and Tom. On their first day in their new home, the young turtles all sat outside on the rock. They stretched their striped arms and necks and enjoyed the warm sun. "Look, Ted," Thomas shouted, pointing across the pond. "I see some new friends. Race you!" And they were off. Left behind, Tori tucked her head and legs deep inside her shell. Now she looked just like a rock. So Tori didn't run with them. "Tori, where are you?" called Mama, coming out from the kitchen, looking out over the pond. Finally spotting her, Mama said, "What are you doing out here all by yourself?" "Nothing," Tori replied. "Well, come inside and we'll make sure everything is ready for your first day of school. Just thinking of all the new friends you're going to make." But Tori wasn't so sure that making new friends would be easy. What if no one talked to her? What if she had no one to play with at recess? Or even worse, what if someone made fun of her for being a slow turtle? "Come on," said Mama. "Let's pick out your outfit for school and get your backpack ready." "Okay," said Tori. She didn't tell Mama how worried she was. After Mama left, she spent the rest of the day by herself, unpacking her shell collection. The next morning, they left for school. Ted and Thomas saw their new friends, Buster Bunny and Henry Hedgehog, up ahead and caught up with them. Tori straggled behind. She's still walking slow. At school, Tori was welcomed by her teacher, Miss Minnick, who asked Tori to introduce herself to the class. Tori pulled her head into her shell. Miss Minnick again asked, "Can you tell us something about yourself, dear?" Tori's voice echoed from inside her shell. "I'm Tori, from Woodland Pond." Miss Minnick peered into Tori's shell and said, "Thank you, Tori. We're so glad you're here at Mulberry Meadow School. Please take a seat." So that's Tori tucked in her shell. Soon it was recess time. Tori sat by herself, head tucked in her shell, watching the group that was playing jump rope. All she could think about was the time at her old school when she tried jumping rope only to trip and land on her back. She could still hear everyone laughing as she struggled to get herself right side up. She didn't want that to happen again. So she didn't do jump rope because she was afraid. Miss Minnick walked over to Tori. "Wouldn't you like to play with the others?" she asked. No, thank you, I'm fine," said Tori, peeking out from her shell. Miss Minnick said, "I know it's hard to go to a new school. When I was a kid, I moved to a new town and realized I was the only skunk. I felt so lonely. On my first day of school, the fire alarm sounded by mistake, and my worst fear was realized." "Oh no," Tori said. "That's right, I sprayed." "Oh no." "I sprayed my new desk, my new classroom, my new teacher, and all my new classmates." "What did you do?" asked Tori. "I didn't know what to do, so I just put my head down and jammed my hands into my pockets. But I found a card in one of them that my papa had given me. It was a verse from the great book that said, 'This is a friend who sticks closer than a brother.' It reminded me that Jesus would always be my friend, no matter what." "I thought I would never have any friends after that, but I'll always remember how Sally Salamander came right up to me and said, 'Don't worry, everyone is afraid of being embarrassed. I'm afraid of sliming my chair.' Wasn't that kind of her? We're still friends to this day." Reaching into her pocket, Miss Minnick said, "You know, Tori, I've had this for a very long time, but I'd like you to have it." She pulled out the tattered card her father had given her long ago and handed it to Tori. Then she rang the bell to call everyone from recess. That Sunday, Mama, Papa, Ted, Thomas, and Tori went to their new church in Mulberry Meadow. Tori looked up, and right behind the preacher, in big gold letters, was a verse from the great book. Jesus says, "I am with you always." All week, Tori had been thinking about what Miss Minnick had said about Jesus always being her friend. And here it was again. Wow, Lord, you're always with me, even in my shell. Thank you for being my friend, Tori silently prayed. Monday morning at recess, Tori was hiding her head in her shell again. She still didn't want to try jumping rope. All of a sudden, she noticed something shiny moving across the playground. Looking closer, she saw it was the top of an old school bell with legs poking out from under it. Whoever was in there was having a hard time walking. Tori stuck her neck out and slowly walked over to see if she could help. Hello, she said. Are you okay in there? The bell became completely still. Tori said again, hello, are you all right? Finally, two eyes peered out from under the edge, and a voice called, yes, I'm fine. No need to worry. Are you sure? Tori asked. Well, maybe, came the reply. Can you lift this for me? Sure, do you need help carrying it somewhere? No, that's okay. I was wanting. Lifting at the bell, Tori could see that it was Gertie Gecko. What did you want? Asked Tori. A shell like yours. Ever since I saw you in your shell during recess, I wanted one too, said Gertie. You wanted a shell like mine? Why? Asked Tori, surprised. Sometimes I feel lonely and I don't know who to play with at recess. I wanted to have a shell like yours to hide in. Even if you're all by yourself in there, I bet it always feels full. So I found this bell to use, but then I got stuck. Gertie couldn't believe all that had just come tumbling out, but she did feel better telling someone. Tori wanted to laugh. Gertie did look funny under that bell, but then she remembered how it felt to be lonely. I do like to hide in my shell sometimes, but it gets awfully lonely in there. I'm finding out that hiding is not the answer. Maybe after school I can tell you what I've been learning. Would you? Asked Gertie. That would be wonderful. After school, Tori and Gertie walked home together. While they were walking, Tori took out the card that Miss Minute gave her and read it with Gertie. There is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Jesus is always with me, and he is with you too, Tori said. So even if I think I don't have any friends, Jesus is my friend? Asked Gertie. Yes, said Tori. The preacher told us that God sent his son Jesus to this earth to make sure that we were never alone. When you ask him for forgiveness, he becomes your friend forever. Gertie and Tori walked home arm in arm. When they got to Tori's log, she asked Gertie, would you like to come in and see my shell collection? I would love that, said Gertie. I can give you a shell of your own, but don't try and wear it. You aren't a turtle, you know. This time Tori did laugh, and Gertie laughed right along with her. As Gertie was leaving, Tori invited her to come to church with her. Gertie said yes. The next Sunday, the whole Gecko family squeezed into the pew with turtles. Gertie poked Tori and pointed to the verse on the wall. Jesus says, I'm with you always. Tori whispered to Gertie, see, I told you, you can believe whatever the great book says. Tori and Gertie sang their new favorite hymn with their heads held high, so high they could see Miss Minnick on stage with the choir smiling back at them. Have faith in God when your pathway is lonely. He sees and knows all the ways you have trod. Never alone are the least of his children. Have faith in God. Have faith in God. The end. That's the end of our wonderful book. Thank you so much for reading with me. Bye.